but I thought, you know what, let's get a bit of summer going, you know. I'm bored with winter now.
Yeah, I love it. I was just saying to the guys that we're just coming on because we did something earlier on in the week, and we felt it went pretty well. We wanted to sort of go off the back of that and do something maybe together a little bit more going forward. So just really asking the guys a bit more about what they think. So it means that you've got to get your old typey fingers out and ask some questions. Hi, Louise, you right there?
Oh, yeah, Louise.
She's checking up on us.
Yeah.
That's my other half for anybody else out there who doesn't know. She's fab. Follow her account. Lots of leopard. Loads of leopard on there all the time.
You gotta love a bit of leopard.
Gotta love a bit of print. So, yeah, how's your week been, Michelle? How have you been? And
good. And actually, really, I think, Michelle, you are matching what we are. Yeah. The thing is, you know, what can I say? What can I say? We seem to be on the same wavelength. Good job it's not the other way around, because I might blend into the background.
Where are you? Can't see it. Disappeared.
Yeah, the week's been really good. I think, do you know what? We were talking last week about like what motivates us and things like that. And I think doing something positive has definitely had a positive effect on, God, this is, you know, yes, we may not be able to work in the salon. Yes, we may not be able to do hair, as in on guests or clients. But to find something positive that we can do to help feel like you're moving forward and not just standing still.
Yeah, I think that's a massive thing. It's not, I mean, for those guys that don't know Michelle or have been introduced to her through being on here, is Michelle's been doing online stuff for quite a while now, and certainly she's a bit of a precursor for me to get me to do more online. And certainly one of the things that I've found just getting up and doing these lives, and as you've said as well, is that the more you sort of do, the easier or less daunting, I wouldn't say easier, the less daunting it becomes. And it also gives you something to get up and do. I think that's the other thing I found with it, is that, you know, it's from setting up all the, and maybe we'll both post some, I know you've posted a picture up already about how you've got your light set up and stuff like that, but little things like that I never knew about that makes a bloody big difference to what it is you're putting out there. Certainly conversations with Michelle and have brought them forward for me. And like I said, it does give you something to get up and do. It's not like, what am I going to do today?
No, it's definitely, and like you said, getting set up, you know, probably both, if we talked about how long it took us to set up and what we've been doing this afternoon to prep, it's positive, isn't it? Because you think, right, now I'm going to get myself ready, you know, put your lipstick on, Keith, you know,
I've gone very
neutral,
Michelle. I've gone very neutral.
Oh, you've gone neutral. No, we'd have to, if Lucy Mayer was on here, she'd be saying, get your red lips on, Keith.
Lucy's a fab makeup artist for any of you guys that are out there. She's a good friend of both of ours, and absolutely A1 makeup artist. So if you get out there and give her a follow, certainly go and look for her. She's fantastic.
Yeah, and she's also been doing, I think, which is really positive, she's been doing some tutorials herself. She hasn't been doing any lives, but she's been doing some tutorials and talking about skincare behind the mask, how to make you still look vibrant even if you are covering half your face. She's done quite a few really good inspiring
smoky eyes.
Yes, smoky eyes. Inspiring videos. Definitely worth going to follow her for sure. And I no doubt, because myself, for those of you who don't know, Keith kindly joined my salon live last week on Wednesday, where we were helping our guests to give them just some positivity of what things we could do to advise them to do to help with their hair, any problems, give them some sort of look at their problems and give them some solutions. And Keith very kindly joined, which was amazing. So Keith, my mother, she does nothing to her hair. Okay, my mother called me. She's joined Instagram, by the way.
Oh, check her out.
And she called me on Saturday to say, "What do you think of my hair? I've been trying some of the tips that Keith gave me. And she said it was so nice to see such a gorgeous looking fella.
Oh,
We all like a nice fella on the on your
bless
lives.
her.
I think you should do it every week with him.
Oh, there you go. She partially sighted as well. I love it. Oh, that's good. So she won't listen to her daughter, but she'll listen to some bloke from down south somewhere.
But you know, well, you're gorgeous, Keith. You know, that's her
Oh,
words.
bless her. I always pull the 8-year-old. Yeah, Lou, thank you. You laugh away, Lou. I love it. Yeah. I think that's one of the things, isn't it? You know, mums they're always the ones that are, they won't listen to you know, your advice on stuff, but certainly the advice of like somebody they've never met before. I know. It's like, oh yeah, I'll go with that. That's fine. Oh, bless her. So what's your mum's hair like then? What is she?
My mum's is baby fine.
Yeah. Short.
She suits her hair being cropped as short as you can, but she's gone quite thin on the top as she's got older. She's still got. Oh God, I hope she's not watching. I really will be in daughter bad books. But no, it's thinned out on the top. You know, she's still got a good covering. There's no sort of areas of no hair, but it's generally that sort of particular here where ladies and guys tend to get it, just at that front. So she's better being shorter, but of course she hasn't had a haircut. So her fringe is quite long and it just sits flat. You know, it's you know, I know I can see the future. Lank hair.
So does her hair look thicker when it's shorter or when it's long? Because sometimes that's the thing with fine hair, isn't it? If it goes, you know, some of it's too short, it can be a little bit more see-through, but other times it can work really well and actually thicken it up. So how does she find the thickness of it when it's?
She's better with short. I think it's the shorter and the blunter, the better.
Yeah.
Especially here, if she has a nice, really cropped short, almost like a Judi Dench fringe.
Yeah.
And keep some weight in it. She's gone also past the time of colouring. She's decided she's not colouring because she gets a bit of eczema on her scalp. Yeah. So of course I really think some colour would add some dimension and add some thickness, even something a bit darker on her skin, so that there's a bit of difference between her hair colour and her skin tone.
Yeah.
You know,
it's just like contrast. A blank. I don't know where it stops and starts.
Oh, love her. Mum, I'm sorry.
What's your mum's name anyway?
Carol.
Carol, we apologise, Carol, for talking about you and your hair, bless you.
We do. But if we can't use our mothers or parents as an example, as you know, customer example, then who can we?
I'm staying well clear of Louise. I'm staying well clear from the wife, definitely.
Oh yeah,
not bringing her up. She'll be cursing me after this. So yeah,
you want to live.
Yeah, I do want to live. I definitely want to live. I don't want to get any grief. Like most men, it's just like I'll just say yes to everything. It's always the best way. So yeah, I mean, it's we've got together tonight really to ask everybody out there, when you've got time, if you can answer some bits and bobs now, is to really find out what us as hairdressers, and also we may well have clients of ours that do follow us on this particular channel as well, to see what they would want to get from lives and things like that. So going forward, we're possibly thinking about going into a YouTube thing and stuff like that. So branching out and just maybe doing regular things online together, just regarding hair and hair life. It could be what could it be, Michelle? I mean, we've been batting around a couple of ideas, and again, these are things that we've come up with, but from how we started, maybe one of the things or something like that. Or
I mean, I don't know about you, Keith, and guys, if anybody's got any questions, please put them in the chat bar. If you watch this on rerun, or replay, if you watch it on replay, then again, just add any questions in the comments, any suggestions, if there's suggestions that you've got that you think you could benefit from, that we can help you, then we're at a point in our careers that we need to give back. So we haven't gone through our process. If we take our compartmentalized lives, myself and Keith have been Redken artists for How long have you been a Redkin? Was it 2004, 2005?
Yeah, I was 2 when I started, so I'm
Yeah,
obviously
me
still
too.
very young. Yeah, probably. I'm going to say yes, Michelle, because off the top of my head, I can't think when it was.
I sort of work it around events, and I remember having a great trip that I met yourself and Louise on in Portugal, and it was a Redkin trip.
Yeah,
And that was 2004, so it's got to have been around that sort of time that that we joined Redkin, and we've been through all of the process, and we get asked a lot, how do we become Redkin artists? How do we become facilitators? What does it take? Hey, Alarisa, nice to see you joining on. Sorry, everybody. You know, we want to shout everybody out, but it's dropping by so fast. It's hard to catch everyone's names. But
I'm trying to wave at everybody. I'm pressing the button furiously.
You know, we'd be just waving. We'd be like the Queen. Just wave. Just wave. Hey, Eloisa, lovely to see you. Sending love to Sweden. We hope you're very well. But, you know, we do get asked a lot how we did what we did and how we got to the position in Redkin that we have. And if we can help others come along with that journey, then 100%.
Yeah, and I would imagine for most companies, or when you're doing education for product companies, it's going to be a similar sort of route for each one. I mean, it might differ slightly, but you know, there's certainly a little bit of luck, a little bit of knowing the right people, and then just putting yourself out there. Which, you know, I said we can do this on a like a channel where we're talking about how we physically got through it rather than just bullet points and bits and bobs. Yeah. It's just finding out if people, you know, would want to sit down and listen to that. I think it, you know, I think it's interesting. Michelle thinks it's interesting. It's just whether or not you guys out there will
we've got Yolanda, Keith. Yolanda Rodriguez has said that, yes, I want to be a Redkin team. I've used Redkin for more than 20 years. You know?
Good stuff. Good stuff. So, you know, that's, you know, well, there's somebody there that's definitely up for finding out a little bit more about how, you know, how we got there. And it's certainly something that, you know, hairdressing as an industry has got so many avenues. And I think we talked about this before, that it can be something that lots of people can do. There's lots of different routes to it, and there's no right or wrong way of doing it. But also there's so much you can do. It doesn't have to be one thing that you can do. There's so many. It could be fashion work, it could be editorial work. We've got Michael on here. I think he may well still be on, who does TV work. You know, started from you know, I haven't been stalking you, Michael, but I know you said something. I was watching you on AD Phelan chatting the other day, and he was talking about all the stuff he did behind the scenes, like with Weller and other bits and bobs as well, to get to a point where he's now doing what he's doing on TV. So you've got TV work, you've got I've shared I can't remember the name of it, but there was a fantastic wig maker, both Michelle and I sort of stumbled across, who's involved with hair, not hair shows, like Dita Von Teese, burlesque, theatre. So there's so many things out there and avenues that you can go down. Leanne's definitely interested in that, so that's cool to hear as well.
Alarisa says he misses us. We miss you too. Right back at you.
So, you know, there's so many avenues that people can go down, and you know, it's just, I don't know, it's laying it out a little bit honestly to people in regards to, you know, it's no witchcraft or you know, hocus pocus with it. You know,
it's just, no.
Well, I've tried a bit of voodoo, but it doesn't really work. But yeah, you know, there's just a lot of stuff, a lot of information that we feel we can give out, you know, from that side of things, to running a business, to training trainees, to advertising, to little things like, you know, how do I, you know, get an Instagram feed up and running, or how do I make the, now this is something I learned today with Michelle. Know anything about it. To hear Michelle, or for her to actually share that with me, again, it's something that people take for granted. So with you guys, you know, Instagram lives as interesting as you want them to be, maybe with the little hints and tips that we've got as well. So, Mish. So yeah, it's certainly something that you're there, Michelle. She's done that thing where she's got like that on me. So yeah.
Am I back? Is that better, Keith? Am I back, or am I still breaking up?
That's it.
Now my next thing, and that's, see, things like that, you know, I've hardwired my laptop in so that my signal doesn't drop out. You know, how the next thing is hardwire our phones in.
Yeah, I know. I was thinking that, I was thinking I've got the computer sorted out, but I'm not really sure how to do the phone. So again, this is something that you guys may well be able to help us out with, and then therefore we'll be able to help other people out of it. Again, it's not about knowing everything. It's about gathering information between all of us and then sharing it together so that we can all benefit from it, or that we can all get something out of it. So, all right, there, Charlie. If anybody wants to go and see some magic, Charlie Hewish is the man to go and see. He's one of my cousins and cousins' sons. But Close Up Magic, he's a Magic Circle guy. So yeah, if you, Charlie Hewish is a good one to go and follow there. So if you fancy a little looking at some magic, he's good to go and see. So yeah, I think that's the thing with it. There isn't any. Don't want to hide anything. Just want to be really honest with people and just let them know, you know, what's out there and what they can do.
Yeah, and also we had the conversation about things like, and if when I froze. You already covered it, to apologise, everybody. But again, please join in with the conversation. You know, we really do want to have open like a dialogue that as a global community. And I think if the whole of last year hasn't taught us anything, is that we need to all be together and we need to all share our common findings and interests to become stronger, more powerful, and, you know, elevate our profession to the right place it should be. And it's not always, we may find that you get a certain area that seem to get a lot of the recognition, and yet there's so many people in here in salons that are just doing what they do every day without really any idea of how to get from where they are to where they really would like to be, whether, as Keith said, it's fashion, it's photography, session work, you know, education, whatever it may be, having your own salon, you know, whatever it may be. It's a great opportunity to be able to share our experiences, because between us we've experienced probably all of it.
Yeah, but if we haven't, there's people we know. You know, we're not like famous hairdressers or anything like that.
No,
but we know a few people that we could possibly, speak to and get, find out how they did things as well. So certainly it gives us the opportunity for those guys out there that are wanting to get a bit more. You know, we have got a few people that we can call upon, and you know, if any of you are on this line at the moment, you've signed up. You didn't know this. You signed up at the start that we may well contact you at some point.
Exactly.
They're all going to go now, but yeah, this is the whole thing about it. It's, you know, this communication thing that you've mentioned, and the fact that everybody now is, they're zooming. You know, you're saying your mum's now on Instagram, which she probably thought before the pandemic she'd never go onto it, but all of a sudden your mum's like she's doing the gram.
I don't think she knows how to get back on to the gram.
Okay. I'll have to slide into a DM then.
And her password is probably so complicated that she'll never remember it again. Because, as I said, Mum, you're not MI5. You have not got anything that's stealable.
Yeah, bless her. So yeah, it's really, this is what this getting together really is about. It's just to find out, getting you guys to comment and talk through, or even message us if you don't want to do anything on here. Just message us directly about stuff that you'd like to see, things that are interesting to you, things that you think other people might be interested in as well. So certainly it's something that you know, there are opportunities out there. I don't know if Leanne's still on here. If you are on here, Leanne, still just give us a little wave or a thumbs up in the comments box. But she approached me about doing some education for a college, 35 or 38 students. And she just asked the question. And of course, I think we're, you know, quite a nice bunch. We want to help each other out. So, you know, I said yes. You know, so, you know, it doesn't have to cost you anything. It's just a case of, you know, giving some of that. Leanne's still there. So, yeah. You just have to, you know, be prepared to share stuff. It's, you know, it's what it's about, really. Yeah, it really is.
Yeah, I think 100% it's, you know, just like sharing, but also not just about talking about, you know, there's so many things that we creatively do that we'd love to share with people, and there's so many questions we can answer through hairdressing that we, you know, we've come up with a concept, but the actual delivery of it can go from anywhere, really, can't it, Keith?
Yeah, I mean, that's the whole thing with it. You want it to be fairly, you know, we want it to be flexible. We want some hair, but we also want some chat like we're doing tonight. You know, chatting about, you know, what hair-wise we've been up to, and, you know, not necessarily about what weekly shop we've done and things like that. You know, keep it hair orientated, but certainly, you know, looking at other bits and bobs that, you know, that don't really get talked about. I think that's the thing with it. Is, you know, like I said, it's often something that's seen as, you know, how do you start something like? How did you start something like? I mean, there's so many different ways of doing it, but nobody really tells you at the start of that. So at least there's two of us here that can, you know, give some sort of you know, insight into what it's like.
Yeah.
You know, rather than if you're out there thinking about doing something like that you'll have a little bit of knowledge before you go and do it. So, you know, it's little things like that I think that will help. And like I said, between us both, we've done, you know, hair shows, we've travelled to New York, we've done, you know, we've done a bit of globetrotting and stuff doing hair, and it's certainly something that, you know, from an experience perspective in regards to, you know, the stuff that we've learned, and that we can share with you guys as well. So it can be something that's hair, something that's business, something that's, you know, how do I make the apprentices stay? You know, something as simple as that. You know, we're just looking at trying to provide something that's, you know, ultimately hair related, but has got different little facets to it that we can go off and go down and explore from week to week, depending on where people want to take it. So almost like chat show-esque type thing with some hair chucked in.
That's basically it. Yeah.
I think.
That's basically it. Absolutely.
Who's going to be Phil and who's going to be Holly then?
Well, I definitely think I'm Phil and you're Holly.
Oh, look in that pink dress.
I had a shave. I had a little shave earlier, so I'm good to go. I'm good to go.
I love it. I love it.
Yes, but I think that, you know, like when we thinking about the content that we were going to, so, you know, for those of you who are on here or watching in replay or rewind, we're gonna set up a YouTube channel because we've got so much content to share. The format it will be in, that our lives will be a discussion, but also then we'll be really delving into content more in depth on our YouTube channel, so that then you can watch it or come back and watch it. You don't have to necessarily watch it live, but it's just having a resource center there that you could, I mean, for me, my team would love a resource center so that they could go there and get some advice if they need to. And it's not just necessarily about what shade of color would you use on that lady's hair to cover that gray, because often it's the communication that somebody might need. You know, how do I talk to that person who's gone through hair loss? How do I speak to her with humanity and not feel scared of saying the wrong thing? You know, there's so many things that are built around it and not sort of just the nuts and bolts of hair.
Yeah, I mean, that's a really good point. I think often it's seen as, oh, you just chat about holidays, or you chat about this and you chat about that. But there's, you know, there's a huge communication that we do verbally and non-verbally with our clients in regards to, you know, getting that information over. And again, that's something that as a hairdresser, you go, well, I've just sort of learned that as I've gone along. But there's obviously things you need to look out for, and, you know, stuff that we've learned. And then, like I said, you might have that apprentice that's sitting there and going, I've got Mrs. Smith in next week. I shampoo her hair. She's got really fine hair, and she always asks me about it. I just don't know what to, you know, I don't know what to say to her. What do I actually say to her when, you know, this comes up? So yeah, being able to help out and answer some of those questions in regards to, yeah, how do you approach some of this stuff? And certainly, you know, there's loads of information out there that you can get, books and this, that, and the others. But, you know, the main thing with any of these things is to really listen to what your clients are saying, and also listen to what you guys are saying. You know, what it is you want to get, you know, what it is you want to get. And like I said, it could be that trainee, it could be that stylist that, I don't know, I'll use myself, for example. I trained at Vidal Sassoon, and I didn't know how to round brush when I came out of there. Funnily enough, I could only wrap dry and use it with the Denman, and that was about it. So I had to learn how to round brush after, you know, 5 or 6 years of hairdressing, and, you know, that was a real. I didn't really have anybody to go to and stuff like that. Fortunately, you know, Louise, my other half's really good at that. She was fantastic, so I used to watch her. But, you know, little things like that you just sort of, you know, take, you know, what do I do in that situation? Is, you know, and we've got this big thing about trying to be right all the time. I've got to be right. I've got to be perfect. I've got to be this, that, and the other, because we're artistic types. Rather than going, I don't know this. I'm really struggling with that. Can I have some help, please?
Yeah, I think
that might just be me, though.
No, I'm the reverse, because the salon that I trained in, we did plenty of round brush blow dries, you know, and for me, it was the simplistic wrap dry that I didn't have a clue what a wrap dry was. When somebody said, oh, could you wrap dry that? And I was like, dare I say, I don't know what the hell is a wrap dry. I don't know, you know, it just, we weren't in London, we were in Cardiff, you know, the big smoke, my God, where, you know, it's
but again, go on, sorry, Michelle.
No, you jump in.
Yeah, but it's really nice hearing that, because again, I didn't know that about you. Even though I've known you for donkey's years, I didn't know you couldn't do a wrap dry. But then you didn't maybe know that. Well, you've probably seen someone around brush blow dries. You might be thinking, you still can't do it now.
Oh, believe me, I remember being in this salon. It was the second salon. No, it was actually the third salon I went to work in. So I worked in as a Saturday girl, and the Saturday, where I worked on a Saturday, what inspired me to become a hairdresser was the colorist who'd been to London to be trained as a colorist on foil highlighting. And I was there on a Saturday, and she came down the salon with her white fur jacket on, with her colour chart, swishing around, smoking her.
In the salon? That's going back a bit. Having a fag in the salon. I love it.
Well, the nail technician, who I was in awe of, sat in the window with the biggest nails that you ever did see, smoking St. Moritz. As she was doing somebody's acrylic nails, and I thought, I want to be like them.
Yeah. I love
it wasn't anything to do with the hair. I just
it's just the look. It's the complete look and the ambiance of it all.
Yeah,
I love it.
You know, little did I know that you had to, you know, scrub skirtings with toothbrushes for about 3 years.
Yeah, tint brushes were always good. Did that a fair few times. Actually. That was I don't know, the trials of being a junior or a assistant, or what's your one now, Michelle? Is it becoming
future stylist? Future stylist,
which I do like. So there's lots of.
I can't lay claim to developing that. I've stolen that of Caroline Sweeney from Creations.
Oh, there you go. So
if you're on here or you watch it, Caroline, big shout out, because I love your style.
Future stylist. I like it.
It's got a nice ring to it, hasn't it?
Definitely. And again, I think it just, I suppose in their mindset, it gets them thinking about becoming a stylist, because, you know, it's their stylist rather than, you know, minion. scrubber, whatever,
Yeah.
you know, whatever, you know, I don't know, it just elevates it all up a little bit more.
Yeah.
And I think from a client's perspective, I think I've certainly noticed, and you probably have as well, that going from a trainee to a stylist, how clients can sometimes treat you a little bit differently from when you're a trainee to a stylist. So having that future stylist role title, I think may well help that transition for clients, because you know, because they I don't know why they sit in your chair. Oh, I'm with the stylist now, it's all good. I was with the trainee a minute ago. It's just, you know, I think getting everybody on an even playing field and making sure that, you know, our trainees or future stylists are involved all the way through, from shampooing to the consultation to maybe holding sections, or, you know, being there around the blow dry, passing things over to you, just gets them involved a bit more. So it certainly dilutes down that difference between you know, somebody that's, you know, sweeping coffees, teas, and this, that, and the others, and assisting you and helping you out to you know, they're getting those clients to think of them all as the same, rather than, you know, it's not every client, but I certainly had a few in my years that have maybe looked down their noses at others when they shouldn't really.
100%. I think it just bridges the gap, but also looking at them, you know, the new blood that's coming through, to give them something to, how can I put it? I suppose, I remember, you know, you said that, you know, there's this, they're down there or they're up here. There's like this huge divide. And I think that to stop people when they get to a stylist treating the newer assistants with disrespect, and it does happen, we all know it happens.
I'm a stylist now, I don't shampoo.
There's no point, you know, we've all been there. But to bridge that is to elevate the starting point so that they feel their worth, that they can look up to the person that's already a stylist, but from a point of elevation as well, rather than feeling like the dog's body.
Yeah, it's made that, rather than having that step here and that step up there, we've put, you know, you've got something in between the two that's just smoothing out that sort of dip that you can sometimes get. And again, I think it's yeah, it's down to us to really, I don't know, we're going to, this is really how I want this thing to be anyway, but it's really how you want assistants to be viewed, that they, you know, from our perspective, that we need to be informing our clients that, you know, they are an integral part of what goes on. You know, they will be mixing up colours, they will be, you know, taking shape. You know, if they don't take off at the right time, then, you know, that's a really important thing, that they need to do that, and, you know, get the toner on. So, you know, it's our job as much as the trainees to give that information of how important their role is. And if they're not there, then, you know, both you and I know, if you've got a full column of, you know, however many clients that you do in a day, and suddenly there's a trainee that's not there, and you've got back-to-back colours and this, that, and the others, then, you know, that's when you really realise how important they are.
Yeah, 100%. And I think if we don't elevate the lower level, our guests don't judge them as being worthy of doing that top-up colour when we need it, when we're busy on a day where we haven't got a spare pair of hands, and that's when they're called on. Yeah. So if we elevate them, then when we get them to do something, our guests or our clients will have a more faith in them, that they're capable, because we know they are capable, but it's that perception, isn't it, that they capable? Well, you were making tea earlier and you were being told that you weren't doing a very good job, and now you're suddenly putting my roots on and being charged the same, you know? It's getting that balance.
Yeah. I mean, it's such a good point. Like you said, they go from doing one thing to another, and it's you know, it seemed possibly that the stylist has got the lead role, or the, you know, starring role. But, you know, when you think about it, a lot of these, you know, with anything from running a salon to doing stuff on stage. I smell. That's Kel. Sorry for everybody else. Doing stuff on stage. You've got a massive.
I can't see any of the comments anymore.
Oh,
I must
Kelly's
have,
joined. She says she doesn't like you, and she only likes me.
Oh, that's why she's hidden the comments from me. I'm getting a bit of shine. I'm getting a bit of shine from my lights here. So this is a great tip that's happened already. If you look at our screens, I've set up 3 lights and I tested them earlier and checked that they were working. I did a video of myself. I quickly switched on Instagram as if I was going to do a live just to check that the balance and the lighting, and it was great. And about halfway through this, the lighting is obviously changed outside. Even though it was dark, it seems to have dipped again. And I can see I'm more shadowy again. And this light here is coming from my Dazzle light that was really in a good place for shadows earlier, but it's changed now. So, you know, you playing with the lighting is so important. Even each time we do something, we're learning another lighting setup to make sure it combats, because a lot of the lives that we've been doing have been during the day. So we've got the natural light as well as the lighting, but now that we're doing more in the evening and we haven't got the benefit of natural light outside, we're utilizing an extra light, and it's just not quite right. You can see it's just coming down on here.
Need some more powder on, Michelle. That's what you need.
Oh, I do. I'm going to try and change it so that we can adjust it just to see if that makes a difference to the lighting.
Yeah, I need Kevin to run on with a bit of powder. Put a bit of powder on that bit.
I'm just going to bring in, this is a light box on here. So I'm just going to bring in.
What's the light box look like, Michelle, for those people that maybe they'll be looking in?
Do you want me to turn it?
Yeah, just let me know, because I mean, I didn't know what one was until, there you go.
So if I spin it, that's a light box. I've got 2, but I've only put 1 up, and it's a mistake. I should have put another one on the opposite side, because I thought I could get away. And if I turn around, you can see I've got a ring light here, and then I've got a Dazzle there. And I think the Dazzle I've been experimenting with, and I still can't get it right. So I just need to do a bit more research. I still can't quite get the right caliber on it. It seems to, like earlier when we went on the live, I felt like it was bright, but can you see the difference in the way it's gone shadowy again?
Yeah, you look like your Phantom of the Opera now. You got like half light, half. Yeah,
the masked person. Let me try and adjust it.
Kelly's actually put up. Oh, those Dazzles can be a pain fresh.
Oh, so you've been having problem with Dazzle as well.
So yeah, again, this is all stuff that, you know, we're quite willing to share with people and to talk people through. And certainly, you know, getting onto YouTube and do some stuff there, you know, we'd look at, you know, putting together this week is going to be how to set up your home studio, how to get your lighting. Here are some of the mistakes we made whilst doing our lighting. And then, like I said, the following week, it'll be a hair thing. It'll be, you know, I'm going to do a cut. Michelle's going to do a colour, or, you know, I'm going to do a haircut to the colour Michelle's done. Michelle's going to do a colour to the cut that I've done. So, you know, we want to have something that flows from one to the other. So, you know, seeing things like lighting and stuff like that, like I said, you know, mine doesn't look too bad. I've got 2 of these light
really
boxes.
good lighting going on. So do you want to? Oh, it's just you're looking fresh.
2 light boxes and a ring light, and basically they're really close to it. They're literally about, I can touch them. I'm touching them now.
So what I want to know is, and what everybody on here would like to know. So give Keith a thumbs up if you think he's had a facial yesterday, because he's looking very glowing.
I did that for your mum, actually.
And I can't see the comments, so I don't know what anyone's saying.
No. There's nothing there about that at the moment. But yeah, maybe when we look back at this later on, there'll be people commenting. Steve Anderson, he uses light boxes for a softer light.
Oh yes, yeah, it is much
softer. Especially if you've got glasses.
Yeah.
The trouble you get with glasses, if I put my head up, you'll start to see the old rings in here. So. Can you see I do the same, because I've got the ring light just because it was there. I thought easy. Can you see? Yeah. Whereas my soft box, it's just really, as Steve said, it's really much softer. Clues in the title, isn't it? Yeah. But yeah, I mean, I think that's the thing with it. Until somebody actually shares that with you, you know, you'll be looking at lives and stuff like that, and you may well be looking at it and think there's other people that do it better than us as well, which is great, because you can maybe tell us how they do it so
Yeah,
we can get a bit better
well,
at
if
it.
any of you, like Steve just did, if there's any tips that you could share with us that you've discovered, please pop them in the comments or DM us, because these sort of things will be great features to help other people and help ourselves.
Yeah, it's not. I'm not saying all hairdressers, but some hairdressers can be a little bit protective about what it is they own, the information that they own, and it's really about, like I said, about sharing what it is we know, so that it often makes more room for more information to come in. Often you find, and this is something I've picked up from people I've listened to over the years in regards to education and holding on to things dearly, is that often those things just after a while you hold on so long that you ain't got any strength to grab any more information, because you're holding on so bloody tight to the stuff you've got. So, you know, giving stuff away just means that, you know, you can get more information back in again, and, you know, certainly, you know, sharing between all of us here, and for those guys that are out there, it just means that we can all benefit from it all and all grow and get better at what it is we're doing. Certainly.
Yeah, and I think just helping each other, you know, like we, you know, even with social media tips, things that we've learned that work, things that we've learned that don't, you know, branding, how do you make your brand stronger? How do you do that? You know, there's, I mean, we've certainly, you know, I've not reached 10k followers. I'd love to, just for the swipe up button, no other reason, but just to
Is that what happens then when you get
yeah
that?
once you hit 10k, you can put swipe up on your stories, and I'd love to have that. However, that's just a silly reason, really, isn't it? I think, you know, the biggest thing really is, if your community that you've created are enjoying your content and you're enjoying their content, then that's what it's all about, really. It's not, you know, there's lots of people who say, and I teach Keith knows, but I don't know whether any of you know, I deliver a course for Redkin called Social Media Specialist and Social Media Authority, and it's you know, a lot of the time people want is followers. They just want followers.
You can buy them,
but you can buy them. Correct, you can buy them, but why do we want those followers? What's the intention behind having those followers? And that's the question to ask everyone who's watching this and watches it on Reel. Why do we want more followers? What is our intention for our platform, for our audience? If it's only to 160,000 feel our egos are fulfilled, then that's not the right intention, because, as Keith said, you might as well buy them.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's almost like when you see people going on X Factor and stuff like that, you know, why are you here? Well, I want to be famous. It's not, you know, that's not really what it's about. It's about, you know, what is it you want to share with people? What is it you're passionate about? What is it you feel that other people can benefit from? You know, musicians go out there and sing because they want people to feel lifted or feel a part of what it is they're doing, so that, you know, they get that connection with people. And this is the same thing for us on here. We want to get a connection with people and ensure that, you know, people are enjoying what it is we're doing. So, you know, this is really what it's about. So, like you said, content and how you're thinking about. We've had a hi there. What you're thinking about is what information have I got that I'm passionate about, that I'd love to share with people. And if it means I'll get followers off the back of that, that's why you're doing it.
Yeah, because then it becomes authentic.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. I mean, we've discussed this loads, haven't we, with different bits and bobs. It's trying to find something that you're into and something that you feel passionate about. And we feel really passionate about what it is. You know, there's lots of people that do very inspiring work. And it sometimes can be a little bit too niche. It's a little bit too, you know, we can do that. We can do that stuff easily, Michelle and I. But we also, you know, realise it's not just about that. There's lots of other stuff that goes on with this industry. There's lots of other things that, you know, people can get out of it, life skills, communication skills, general sort of like, just for example, job that I was thinking about, I haven't got that much attention span. I've got a very small attention span. So to have an industry that you can do a start to finish project in an hour and under, if you're a haircutter, maybe colorist is going to take you a little bit longer, but that's something that you get to see there and then. There's not many jobs that you'll get to see the start, the middle, and the end of it. You might just be a small cog in the whole production of it all, and then not really see the end result of it. So, talking about that type of situation for those people out there that got an attention span of a gnat like me, they're doing something like this is great. It's the whole thing with it.
But I thought, I always thought I was really quite methodical, quite, I would work my way through something if it took a long period of time. And I realized as time's gone on, I had a complete wrong impression of myself, and I think
your desktop, Michelle.
Complete wrong impression of myself, because as I've gone, and that's down to training. That's down to going through all of these layers of training that we've been through to suddenly see yourself. And don't get me wrong, I don't always see myself as myself. If I'm but being able to see yourself from somebody else's perspective, I realized that I'm actually got no attention. I work in circles. I start one thing and I start about 20 things and then go back to the beginning because I get bored. And I didn't really realize that about myself until going through this process. It's weird, isn't it? How you discover things about yourself.
You could have asked me that at the start. I could have told you that in 2 minutes.
I know, but it's all in Keith. It's
the
all
journey.
in the journey.
It's in the journey. Love a journey, mate.
Trust in the process, Keith. Trust in the
process. Trust in the process. Yeah, I mean, it's I think that's one of the things of it, wouldn't it? It's just discovering things that you realise you're quite good at, and things that you maybe need to work on a little bit more, and stuff that actually just makes you who you are. I think that's the other thing, that it just because you do I think it's more powerful knowing that what you do in regards to I skit around and do things like that than not understanding why you're doing it. Yeah. I think that's a really big thing, knowing that about yourself.
And I think like during lockdown, I don't know about anybody else, give us some hearts in the chat bar if you have felt like you're going mad through this whole last year, because I certainly have. And I said to my husband, Kevin, for those of you who don't know him, he's my long-suffering husband. I love him, and my rock. I said to him about 2 weeks ago, I said, do you know what? I think I've gone a bit crazy through this lockdown, this third one. He said, no, you've always been crazy. And I said, really? He said, yeah.
We've got a yes up on here. Somebody said they've gone crazy.
You suddenly start to think, I said, oh, maybe I have been a bit like off the wall. Have I been a bit, he said eccentric is the word.
Oh no, eccentric's acceptable. That's good, eccentric. I like that, because that's a very British thing, I think, eccentricity. Oh. Yeah, we've had somebody else has got, Katie's said that she's already mad. It's just added to her madness. But yeah, eccentricity I think is great. That is, I think so that's accepted, definitely.
Yeah.
It's funny how he noticed it though. He's always said you've always been like that.
Isn't it funny? But because I guess when we're normally going to work, we're going, especially for us hairdressers who haven't been able to work at the moment, or have had bouts over this last year of not being able to work, think about it. Have you discovered things? And that's an interesting question for everybody that's watching. Have you discovered things about yourself that you didn't really know or notice before this time?
I think that's a brilliant point. I think often, because we've had so many distractions that we can occupy ourselves with, whether it's going to work, going to the gym, meeting up with friends, coffees, hugs, you know, all those things that we, you know, so desperate to get back into the hugging again. I love a hug. And it's because you can't do that. You haven't got those little coping mechanisms there, that sort of, or distractions there that just take you off on a little, you know, get you away from yourself a little bit. So yeah, like you said, we're left on our own a hell of a lot during lockdown. And yeah, what have people discovered? What have they, you know, what have they found out? You know, what are you still interested in the same thing you thought you were at the start, or have things changed? You know, what's different from start to now?
And also big discoveries. What, like, you know, I've spoken to some people and they've decided to do something completely different, or to think, no, I'm going to launch, you know, my own brand, or I'm going to do something completely different from what you're doing. You know, that would be a really, you know, that sort of led us into a good point of that question. Where would that take us if we got the response and the messages about, you know, what have you discovered about yourselves?
Yeah, I mean, that's, you know, that's the whole thing with this conversation, is that, you know, we're having a conversation, people are talking, we've got, you know, Cornelius put in, doesn't have control on things, eccentric is fabulous, we've got, okay, so, you know, having this conversation and just finding out what other people are going through, what other questions people have, what other queries people have, is stuff that, you know, can help us build our content and make sure that it's something that's relevant and engaging with everybody as well, so that, you know, they get the most out of the time they're spent with us when we're doing this type of thing together.
And we'll do a bit of hair too, hey?
Yeah, well, 1 week hair, 1 week chat, or, you know, that type of thing. You know, I think that's the thing with it. Or it could be 4 weeks hair and a little bit of chat. It could be whatever, you know, whenever the time sort of, you know, we think of it. So, you know, Steve said hi as well from Bespoke. Hiya, mate. So yeah, it's just trying to think of. Not trying to think. We know what we want to do. It's just making sure that, you know, the content that we're putting out there is just for you guys specifically for what it is you want to get. And it doesn't have to be. We want it to be maybe 80% hair and 20% chat about things to do with hair. Yeah, you might want more than that, so it might be 40%, 60%. Yeah. My maths is terrible, so I'm going to stop there just in case I start marking up.
Now you've admitted that. I'm glad you're. Oh, yeah, but now you've admitted your maths are terrible. How? Well, I suppose measurement and maths aren't quite the same thing, so you don't have to say,
no,
I'm going to take an inch off your fringe and 2 inches off the back and add it together.
Oh, I never say that though. I never say inches, because I bet you've had this before, and I bet, you know, people that are watching have had this. I always, you know, I'll pick the hair up. If you say it's down here, I'll pick it up from the back and I'll lift it so the hair comes up at the front. And I'll go, you know, whereabouts do you want this to sit? And I'll lift it up to there. And I go, oh yeah, yeah, I'll have it up to there. So I lift it up out, and they go, oh yeah, that's good, it's good. Okay, I'll have it like that. And I'll go, okay, that's fine. And then they go, how much is that in inches? And I'll go, a couple of inches. Oh no, I don't want that much cut off. But 3 seconds earlier, they wanted me to.
Yeah. It's a trim then.
Yeah, just to take the ends off.
Just a trim.
So yeah, sometimes, you know, I must admit, if a client asks me, how much am I taking off, I always just say, well, just cut it to here. And if they go, how much is that? I said, well, it's just to there. That's all you need to know. It's just to there.
Just to there.
I'm not giving you a measurement.
Don't worry about the measurement.
No. Because like I said, as soon as you give them the measurement, it's like, oh no, I don't want to do that, because they can visualise it. But yeah, you know, that's just something off the back of us just talking. Yeah, and it does cost the same, Kate. You're right. It does.
Yeah, that's yeah, totally, absolutely. So you might as well have a bit more cut off.
I like it. I love it. Yeah, so, yeah, that's all things that, you know, prices and stuff like that. It's, again, that's something that, you know, what do you guys charge when you're, you know, in the areas that you're in? If you're in the London area, then you may well charge more. It'd be interesting to find out what, you know, you're charging. And for those people that are, you know, out, well, I'm not out in the sticks, but I'm not central, I'm in the suburbs, you know, I charge slightly differently. And there's ceilings and stuff like that to possibly how far you can go in the areas you're in as well. So, you know, finding out a little bit about that as well, I always think it's an interesting thing to find out, you know, where do you price yourself? How do you price yourself? Do you have everybody at the same level? Do you have lots of different levels? Do you charge more for this? Do you charge less for that? You know, there's so much we can talk about, which is the great
So
thing about it.
yeah, so much. I think that, you know, that the content will develop. It'll start like it is today. So today is episode 1 of series 1.
Yes, it is. Yeah. The start.
The start.
The start of it.
Yeah.
And certainly, you know,
and it's not Star Wars either, before anyone says episode 1.
oh no, you got me thinking now. It's quite like that. We get one of those scrolling screens where it goes off the back like that.
Oh, I love it. Yeah.
One day during lockdown, you can see it, the yellow writing going in.
These crazy bears.
These crazy bears decided to do this. So certainly, between myself and Michelle, we're going to be posting some stuff up once we've got everything set up and we've got it to a place where we want to, you know, get onto YouTube. We've already got a few little things in place, but we need to do a little bit more behind the scenes. But as soon as we do that, we're going to make sure that yes, Nicholas, a bit of Carlisle, mate, and Flower in the background. Yeah, well, you know, Nicholas is a lovely French man.
Oh, Nicholas. Oh, hey, Nicholas.
Yes. Yeah, all the girls know Nicholas, and he's.
Oh, they do. They do.
He's such a. The annoying thing with Nicholas is he's a good-looking chap, but he's also a really nice bloke. There's not even a little bit of him you think, oh, he's a bit annoying. He's a lovely bloke. So if any of you guys out there that you know, we're getting some inspiration from Vive la France, Nicholas is a top guy to follow. If you're into your fitness as well, he does do a lot of bodybuilding and things like that. So he's a really cool guy to get inspired, certainly from a physicality perspective, if you want to do that. Yeah, Kelly's put up muscles, but also from a hair perspective as well. He's you know,
that's why I wore this jacket. See how it gives me muscles.
Gives you guns. Like. So yeah, oh, Katie's putting on. I'm so excited for this. Always love tuning in, getting me warmed up and getting my hands back on hair.
Oh, that's what it's about. Because, you know, we're in the same position as all of you. That I know that there's a lot of people that are tuning in from different countries, and you're not all in the same position as us. But for the ones that you aren't, you know, just feeling motivated about doing hair, and what things are we going to do when we go back, and how are we going to cope with the situation? How are we going to get to stand on our feet for 8 hours? I don't know.
How are you going to do it? We've talked about that, you know, how we might do things differently going back this time. This is the 3rd time we're going into lockdown, and certainly coming out of lockdown, fingers crossed. You know, Louise and I are looking at doing things slightly different to the times that we've done before. So, you know, things that we've learned from the other 2, we're going to maybe implement on this one. So it's, you know, thinking about it. And also, I've had some quite frank conversations with people I know that have been desperate not to go back. You know, they've thought, I'm just going to struggle so much to get motivated to get back into things, because it's, you know, I think often, you know, you'll look on, you know, YouTube, Instagram and stuff like that, you see everyone else really fired up and really into their hair, and you sit there thinking, God, maybe I need to be like that. I'm a little bit like, oh, you know, I need to get myself, you know, I need to get as fired up as that person on the screen, and it's hard sometimes doing that. And certainly, you know, there's been bits for me. Not necessarily this lockdown, but certainly other lockdowns, where I've got to the point where I'm like, I can't be asked. I'm a really, you know, how do I get that motivation back? So again, you know, these are all fears and stuff that people had going back to work. That's stuff that, you know, as a group together, as we are now, we can talk about. We can maybe find some solutions to those problems. And if we can't find any solutions to the problems, it's okay to go, you know what, I'm not that inspired at the moment.
Yeah. And that's okay.
It happens.
And there's lots
it does happen.
And also there's lots of people out there that will tell you it's wrong to not feel like that. You know, it's you've got to get on with your business. You've got to do this. You've got to do that. It's your responsibility. No, it's your responsibility to yourself to be yourself.
Yeah, you're a human, but you're not a robot. You know, you don't get given a.
Do you know what I mean? If you don't feel like it one day, don't feel like it. If you feel like it next day, do it.
Yeah, completely. And I think, you know, that's that. I suppose that's the thing with, you know, these, you know, Insta lives, Instagram lives, you know, social media, is that, you know, things are perceived as, yes, I'm really inspired to do this, that, and the other, and, you know, yeah, you want to be, but it's bloody hard at times to get.
Mm.
And it's okay not to feel it. And I think, you know, often with these things, when you try and push it, it just doesn't seem to want to come. It's often when you relax and you chill out a little bit, or, you know, like, and almost allow yourself to chill out. I think that's, again, is I think you work a lot and you're a busy person, then suddenly not working feels like you're being really lazy. But it's often a time that if you allow yourself to relax and allow yourself to, I mean, truly relax and truly switch off, that's when you can regenerate and sort of feel a little bit better and come up with inspiration, get more motivated and stuff like that, because you've truly let yourself switch off. But, you know, that's only something, you know, I'm saying it, and I know I could sometimes, Louise will probably say something, I could sit there sometimes supposedly chilling out, not doing anything, and in my head I was spotting something in the corner, think, oh, we really need to paint that cove in. Just stuff. You know, so you've really got to try and switch off. So, you know, talk, like you said, Michelle, trying to get back to stuff is difficult.
It's yeah, it is, and I think it will be a struggle for a lot of people. But, you know, this is the sort of thing we can pick up on next week. Is what the next step is and how we can start to talk about feeling motivated or not, or just discuss things. So, you know, next week it'll be over on my page. So I'm not sure, you know, for those of you who don't know, it's at Michelle_Marshall. I know Keith has already said that. And we'll be both sharing each other on our socials so that people know where to find us, what day. But we're going to be doing this every Monday at 6:30. If we're not, if we have to change the time for any reason, we'll post it on our socials just to let you know that there may be a change in time for whatever reason. But we'll be, you know, this is going to be something our intention is to deliver as an ongoing thing, and we're here for everybody that wants to be here with us.
Yeah, it's a regular thing. It's a regular chat. It's a regular get together about hair, and you guys get to drive where that conversation goes. And if you can't think of that conversation, because like I said, we've got busy lives, then Michelle and I will come up with something that we want to share with you that particular week. But the idea being is that, you know, you drop us some comments and we'll talk about it. We'll discuss it. We'll be open and honest with you guys in regards to, you know, how we get by in those particular situations, and certainly look at helping you out. But also, like I said, if there's people that have logged on or people that log on later and put comments down, there's you know, we can get something between all of us. It's a great way of facilitating information that maybe we don't want to ask or haven't had the opportunity to ask. So certainly look out on our socials and see us every Monday, 6:30.
Yeah. And we challenge, sorry, Keith.
Go on.
And we challenge you to comment and or direct message us any of your suggestions, concerns, thoughts. Reach out to us. 100%.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, it's our commitment to you guys is that, you know, if you reach out to us, we'll do our damnedest to help you guys out in regards to what information we can get back to you in this formation or this format, so that you can get what you want out of it.
Yeah,
cool.
100%.
All good, Mish?
All good.
Okay, guys, so we've been on for, which, well, I like our chats, Michelle. We've been on for just over an hour. I haven't really noticed it.
Oh, I think we're going to have to like segment it, because we do. It's actually very cathartic. So for those of you who are thinking of doing lives or getting more on social media and more of a platform, it's actually really good to talk with somebody in this light that's positive, and it just is positive, isn't it? You know, we come away feeling really good, and we hope, obviously, it's not just about us. We hope you feel that we've helped you too.
Yeah, just get some energy going, and like I said, I think that's the big thing with it. It's just, yeah, it's not rocket science. We all feel the same things, and it's just talking about it, you know, and sharing, you know, some great hair and advice on hair as well.
Yeah, 100%.
Cool. Okay,
Thank you
guys,
for having me on your channel.
Pleasure. Anytime, Michelle. See you next week.
Yes, see you next week.
Yeah. Comments and queries, just drop us in the DM and we'll get back to you. So thanks, guys. And we shall see you for Hair Talk next week.